Welcome to what are we? 151st episode
Oh
of
yeah.
Hooting a Give? No. Who gives a hoot? With Luke and Kyle. Hi.
Hello.
I that I feel like things have happened.
Things have happened. A lot has happened.
Okay, so let's save the news. All right. Union Omaha has won 7. Sorry, it's on two hands. Two hands. 7 games. And that's a record?
That is a League One record.
Wait, who did we beat along the way to get there?
We started with Tormenta.
Okay.
Lexington.
Tormenta, the 2022 League One champs?
Yes. With, Keziah Sterling and all of that stuff. Yeah. Former players.
Yeah.
Lexington. And then one Knox. Two new kids.
Yeah. Okay. We knocked one off the block.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then NoCo.
I mean, if you pull a thread, it all unravels.
Yeah. And then chat in the heat of death, where it was incredibly hot. And then at Greenville, and then, I don't know, just top of the league.
So we have a belt back. Our players probably have scarring to their lungs because of Canadian smoke.
Yeah.
And we beat NCFC in a midweek game, who were sitting top of the table. We're still third based on goal differential behind NoCo.
Yeah.
NoCo has had a good season this year, but we've beaten them. Feel the biggest reason why we want to finish top 2, correct me if I'm wrong, is if the other teams, do what we did last year in chat. If we finish second, we'd still host the final. We have a chance of always hosting, which added revenue for the team. Means I don't have to spend money on plane tickets. All these wonderful things that just make it easier for us.
Yeah, essentially, if you're first or second, you're guaranteed to host one game, and you have a chance at hosting a final. Whereas if you're 3 or 4, you have to host a first round game, and then go somewhere in the second round before even thinking of a final. So yeah.
I mean, really, the worst team to be in the playoffs, if we look at it, would be Fuego. But so there's no worry there. NoCo would be the next worst just because of time zones, travel. We don't have Tucson in this year, but us making the playoffs and not hosting would probably be the worst in the league. And apparently everything's going to fall.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, no, I mean, it depends on if we keep up our pace, because it is still incredibly tight. Charlotte is still putting some pressure on. Of course, NoCo has started to win again, so they're now starting to put pressure on. And we're only a point back from North Carolina, who's, after that last game, has to be feeling some pressure too.
Well, and North Carolina has a tough matchup this weekend.
At Greenville, I believe.
At Greenville. In Greenville, we beat them, but they've not been in bad form.
No.
So
not at all. Them and Madison are both like right at the edge of the playoffs, trying to kind of solidify it. So they're going to be trying to push for whatever they can get.
It'd be sad if Madison didn't make it, since they've never made. Well, I haven't made the playoffs since 2019.
Since 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a chance this year to not finish ninth, which is incredible.
That'd be a first.
No.
Well, maybe not. You're the stats guy.
I mean, technically 2019 they did, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, the last few seasons.
Well, I feel like in this round of conversation, I can throw in some of the Twitter questions,
Sure.
or whatever it's called now, questions.
Just keep it Twitter. Don't even.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who of UO, NOCO, and CFC has the easiest run out? Who has the hardest? Jumping from Ed Fox. So.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be. No one's so much better than everyone else. Everyone has something, at least something tricky left. We play North Carolina, and NOCO plays North Carolina. So there's still games in there. North Carolina still does play Greenville. They also play a Tormenta team that can be kind of tricky at times. Which, speaking of, all three of us also play Tormenta in that run, in this final run. But Tormenta, I would say, yeah, so they could play spoiler, because they're currently on the outside looking in as well. They need those points to be able to make playoffs. But yeah, I mean, but I would say North Carolina is the easiest, because they have those three kind of 3 to 4 tough games, but then they also have Fuego and Lex and One Knox, who are a little bit easier. I mean, One Knox also pushing for playoffs, but a little step behind. So I don't know. I would give it to them as the easiest. Between NOCO and us, it's a little difficult. NOCO's got Madison twice, as well as North Carolina. They've got who was it else? I mean, they have some easy ones too. They have your Fuego. They have a Chat, I think. But they still do have, again, Tormenta. They still have Greenville. So there's a couple things in there. I mean, and then we have our North Carolina. Richmond, we'll see. Richmond's been, a bit mid-table this year, but they're always.
But they have Terzaghi.
Terzaghi always has a chance to score. That's true. I mean, we host Charlotte. That's going to be an interesting game, depending on if Charlotte's still putting pressure on the top three. And then those last two games, honestly, where we go to Tormenta, then go to Madison, those are going to be a little tough as well.
And we play Madison on decision day, which one of the three questions that Ranting Blue Penguin Media has for us: how late do you think it will be before we settle for the top 2 spots? So those would be potential final hosting, but guaranteed to be hosting a semifinal.
My thought is either second to last week or last week.
Yeah, I'm almost throwing decision day on that. Like, I don't think we're running into the issue of not knowing who's making the playoffs by then, but I think the final 2 are definitely going to be decision day.
Which we kind of had that last year as well, where we pretty much knew who was making the playoffs, but the order we just did not know until that final day. I could see something similar, especially if Madison and Greenville do actually push a bit higher and threaten that a little bit. It'd be interesting. But I think we are more going to have like a top 3 or 4, and then like a kind of 5, 6, 7 type of situation. So I think there will be a little bit of separation.
That's what I'm hoping for, but having a true decision day always just kind of spices it up. I mean, that brings me back to 2020. No, we didn't know.
We had to win.
Yeah, we had to win, and it was the 91st minute. We ended up with a beer for a couple of years named after that win. Like, pure drama, pure beauty.
Yeah. Having that happen, and then also knowing that North Texas did win later on, so we would have had to have won anyway. So we'll see if we get that again. I don't know. We'll have to see as this last month. There's only a month left.
Well, okay. Before we jump into the future, let's talk about this last game. Rich is going to have, or by the time this releases, we'll have a fantastic article out, player interviews, coach interview. If you're not reading his stuff, do you really care about the team? Like, it's a legitimate question. Tweet at me, like, find me on social media, answer it. Like, just, do you care about the team? But
I don't know if I'll go that far, but it is very good, and especially if you're wanting to hear what the players and coaches have to say, it's very, very insightful.
The candid comments he's getting are just fantastic. So read Rich's stuff, wghmedia.com. Encourage me to sign up for another year of that domain name. But we should have lost this last game.
I don't know if I say we should have lost, but man, did we keep it close.
The amount of wasted opportunities we had and the amount of slips we had. In the first half, it felt like our midfield was liquid. Like I'll say this. Lexi had a great game. Marco had a great game. Shaft had a great game. And JP had a fantastic game. Playing their positions, doing what they needed to do on the defensive side. Would that first goal have counted if we had VAR? Up to you. Go rewatch it. I'm not sure they were PRO refs, but they let it happen. They gave a yellow card on the lead up to the play, but let the goal stand.
Interesting decision.
Let you decide on that one, listener, viewer, whatever you're doing. Just, I'm not referencing this. Not doing that.
Yeah,
grown.
But we came back. I mean, we had that first goal, which was off, set piece, set piece adjacent, and then the second one was just, and it sucks because he doesn't get credit on the stat sheet for it. It was all like Dion's run, but he doesn't get credit because it technically, I think, was an assist to Pedro or someone who then hit it over. So it's like, it sucks that we don't have a hockey assist stat to have that count for Dion.
The second one caught a head or something.
Yeah, it caught something on the way on Dion's pass through and then just fell right to Joe. So he could just kind of put it in.
It's one of the most beautiful crosses I've seen.
Yeah.
Second half, we made a lot.
We look great until the 80th minute, is what I will say.
75th.
Okay. But no, I would say no. I think it's 80th because we got the 2 goals, right? We got those 2 goals from Steven and from Noe, which Noe's back, awesome. And then we took the water break. But then after the water break at 75, we came out and we had 2 other chances that should have been goals. And I mean, I can understand saying that since we didn't score them, we were worse. But I think the fact that we were still potentially scoring them
So
was good.
normally I'd say baseball field, home advantage, etc. for us. Canadian wildfires, smoky atmosphere, team from
Humid country.
Well, from North Carolina, the tobacco capital of the country. Just saying, them going into a Waffle House or a Denny's and having only the smoking section, did that help them in this game?
I mean, I don't know.
All right.
But they definitely they got that one back, and then you could see that gave them all the hope, and they just pushed.
It did, and they fought hard to the end. They knew what this game meant. I will credit our guys. A very tough environment. Wasn't a hot night, but the breathing, especially if you like as a fan, the turnout was diminished because of the air quality. If you were doing physical activity, whether you were on the field, you were drumming for one of the supporters groups, like good on you, because that's more effort than I was willing to put out in that air quality. Our guys did a fantastic job, fought to the very end. We let up some stupid goals, but
so in the past 4 games of this win streak, we have won by, just double checking for sure. Yeah, we've won by a single goal each game. We've allowed 7 goals. I believe 5 of them have been 85th minute or later.
How many shutouts have we had in the 7-game win streak?
1, which is the second one against Lexington. And then we let a 98th minute goal go against One Knox to ruin our shutout, and a 98th minute goal against Chat to ruin the shutout.
Why are we getting 98th minutes?
I mean, one was a they might have both been penalties. One at least was a penalty.
Yeah.
I'm
not doing a reference. Just not doing a reference.
Hey, it was the Chat one. I understand. It was hot as crap. You had water breaks, whatever.
I'm not doing a reference. I'm just saying this. But why did we have 98th minutes? Okay.
Okay.
Lineup wise, we have had a very rotated lineup. That was something that we talked about throughout the season. We theoretically should have a guy to start on the capable of starting that's on the bench for every position.
Mm-hmm.
This run of play, 7 games has
tested.
Being from Ian in goal over Cheeto, who bobblehead on October 4th.
Yeah,
whatever.
October 4th.
Yeah. So first 1,000 people in the stadium get a Cheeto bobblehead. Why wouldn't you get a Cheeto bobblehead? Go.
But yeah, and then you have so I mean Marco had got a concussion in the game against NoCo, so was out the game after, and so we had to have people step in. You had JP playing in the back line. You had
never again.
He did for a little bit there while Dion was hurt at the end of the half.
Never.
And then recently, these past 2 games, you've had Marco filling in at left center back for Luca because Luca hasn't been able to go. So, the back line has shifted quite a bit. You've had Anderson getting a bunch more time coming in off the bench, getting a solid 20 minutes per game right at the end of the game.
Well, okay, I'm going to pause it there.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson, has had enough pro minutes, and I can't remember the stipulations in an academy contract, but Anderson is no longer an academy player for Union Omaha. He is a full pro. Whether that's the benefits of the Bellevue University add-on, or if that's because we need him and the incentive was made for him to sign a pro contract. But anyways, congratulations, Anderson. Yeah. You're a full pro for Union Omaha. That's fucking awesome.
Congrats. I mean, so happy for him as well, because coming into the season, right, we're like, we have these kind of 3 young players. Will we see them? And we have seen Anderson quite a bit. Yoskar still every once in a while, but Anderson we've definitely seen quite a bit.
Our midfield is stupid deep.
It is. That's really the issue, unfortunately, for him.
Yoskar, if you'd been a defender, you would have seen more playing time. But you had to go midfield. Everybody goes midfield.
Unless you go attack, which we might have some change there too. We'll see.
Well, we've seen a lot of difference in the attacking lineup. Noe's been injured. Pedro was dealing with a dislocated shoulder for a bit. Steinwatcher's gotten a fair amount of playing time, which has made good use of it. And Dos Santos has gotten more playing time than I probably would have credited him with. And he's done.
Like this last game, he had some incredible hold-up play where we were under so much pressure, and he was keeping the ball, playing it out to the wing, starting the counterattack. It was really well done. I've been, again, from what he was at the start of the season, maybe just that he wasn't as fit at the start of the season, I don't know. But from what it was, he's come on so much more into the season.
With a team that could keep the ball up the field better, I'd be more comfortable with him. His track back, and he is tracking back. Like, it's not to say the effort's not there, but his speed is not there. Because he's stepping back to try and cover defense, but then we've got nobody up front. You're relying on your younger guys to get up there, and maybe that's something some of our new signing can help with.
Yeah, and part of that though is the switch to information. We've definitely gone to a 4-2-3-1. Like that's what we have been playing. So I mean,
hate it.
It's been working. So
I absolutely don't hate it. Like, all right. Anything else you want to pull out of the 7 games?
I guess the only other thing that I'm thinking about is, so the team said that the Greenville game was JP's 100th game, where I didn't have it until this game.
I wasn't going to call it out.
I don't know where. Yeah, FOTMob agrees with me. I don't know where they're getting this extra game from. I'd really love to know if they can tell me where it's coming from, but I don't know where it's coming from. My one thought is maybe they're counting one of the Open Cup games because he didn't play in the Chicago game. He missed that Open Cup game.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if they're counting that. I don't know. So yeah, I'm very confused on that front. But
I think there's stats on a number of things, and I tend to trust yours more. But it was a great graphic. So
it was an incredible graphic. And he hit it the next game anyway too, so it's still
fun. Well, regardless, great fucking job, JP.
Yeah, incredible job, JP. So consistent for us, so good. In captain now, yeah.
Like, we're as much shit as we give you. Don't think we didn't notice you trying to hit a 35-yarder this game. That came real damn close. Even if it was 32 yards, we probably would have given it to you and stopped harassing you on it. But amazing accomplishment for JP. he's provided such good leadership, and the way he was performing in the NCFC game yesterday, Wednesday, he's just fighting in a way that you haven't seen in Union Omaha since maybe season 1. And like guys who were, oh crap, if we start fighting, we're gonna make the playoffs. But he's fighting like that every game. He's seen the best Union Omaha can be, and he's seen the worst Union Omaha can be. And I'm not gonna lie, saying that I'm questioning whether I should have hit the panic button earlier this season. I fully hit that panic button, but JP stepping into that captain position, I feel like the team has evolved because of that. Not to take away from what Connor brought, but JP has really stepped into a leadership role, a veteran role. He's won a championship. He's been with this team for as long as he can, and we don't have a bobblehead for him. Like, come on.
Hey, I mean, he's the other. I mean, we only have 2 of our originals left. JP's one, Cheeto's the other. So, is that the playoff? JP bobblehead for the playoff?
I'm surprised JP is not pissed off about this. Like, dude's going to Paris, like going out nightclubs and stuff, and doesn't have a bobblehead. Like, come on.
Yeah, incredible, and we may get more. We may get more that hit 100 this year. Connor and Cheeto have the chance, so we'll see.
And Connor has been doing very well in that, because it's been a double 6.
Yeah.
And like Connor and JP working together there has been great when our defense is able to anchor it.
Yeah.
Excited for it. Really happy to see how it goes. Let's not give up any more late second half goals.
Oh God, please don't. My anxiety does not need that.
What do we want to talk about, Richmond?
At least a little bit, I think. Speaking of a new signing, I mean, it's kind of news, but it's also something that I'm expecting. So we have signed Lagos Kunga, former Atlanta United player.
Former Des Moines Menace player.
That's true. This past year, he was Des Moines Menace, yeah.
Also former U.S. Youth National Team player.
Which I think is when I remember first hearing about him was that time.
I've heard from some Menace fans how good he is. Seeing a little bit of tape on him. Rich has a fantastic write-up. If you're not reading the blog, you're an idiot. Read the blog. It's more intelligent than anything either of us are going to say. Sometimes Kyle says better things on the blog than he says here. Anyways, guy that has been working hard his entire career, done the work. Signing for Union Omaha, I think he could be a huge addition. He was there doing the walk with the players, the victory walk with the players on Wednesday. So looked excited to be there, looked excited to finally be on the field. I know he's come and watched a few games while he was at the Menace.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself says like he's hungry to be here.
And I think we see him on Saturday. I didn't expect to see him last night. I didn't expect to see him against North Carolina. But I think against Richmond, coming off the bench, that's where I'm expecting that he might make his debut.
So notes from going into Richmond off of NCFC. Shaft was pulling at his leg towards the end. That's
right
not
at
the
the
first
end.
time we've seen that
No.
this season. Noe's still coming back from injury.
Luca and Shido.
Yeah. I mean, Luca wasn't even on the bench. Shido was on the bench, but I don't know where his fitness is at. I'm guessing it was a knock or something that had him out.
Yeah.
But with the way our roster is looking, I think it'd be stupid not to at least have him on the bench.
Oh yeah. Especially if something happens, you don't want to have to go to a third keeper option if you can help it. You know,
Who is our third keeper?
don't even know this year.
Shivani?
Oh, maybe.
I feel like Shivani would be our third keeper.
You can see that.
Or Lexi. But you don't want to pull a center back.
You
for
don't
that.
want to pull a defender, yeah.
Even. I mean, he's not.
I don't know how good of a keeper he is.
He's not fast and sprinting, but he is good to. He is very quick to hit the ground. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the Shivani suggestion. He's pretty springy too, so I feel like he could get quick to the side. Yeah.
All right. What we answered with the Lagos, which welcome Lagos. I want to see what you do because I know it's gonna be great. Like it's gonna be awesome. I want to see it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm betting we will see it off the bench. Well, we'll see him come off the bench against Richmond.
Will he completely school Terzaghi?
Oh, it'd be great.
Oh, that'd be so
It'd be
good.
wonderful.
So good.
Will Terzaghi like 2 foot challenge him, get a red card, and not get sent off, or like not get a red card and sent off for doing it?
So, Ranting Blue Penguin Media. Final question: are we staring at a trap this weekend versus Richmond? I think we've kind of answered this.
Yeah. I don't think the team is treating it any lesser either. At least, like every game of this, they've come in prepared and ready to go. So I don't think they're going to treat it like a trap, even if we might be treating it that way.
So I think the team was rotated well enough, and I think a lot of the rotation was done to make sure that we had fresh legs going against Richmond, knowing that objectively they're the tougher team.
Like, as in like physically tougher.
Well, they're the team that needed it more.
Yeah.
Like NCFC can come into a game with us, try to get a draw, and still be fine on the table.
Yeah.
Which is what it felt like they were going for in the first half. Second half, they were trying to recover.
Just catch up, yeah.
Yeah. With Richmond, they need the win, and I think they're going to play tougher. They're going to play more physical.
Yeah, Richmond is 9 points back with one less game than 5th and 6th. So that's a lot to make up.
Yeah. So, not a trap. We're not Admiral Akbaring this.
But it's going to be a challenge. Like, it's definitely going to be a challenge. It's not an easy game. It's not an easy game. I think we've been playing like so well. We've been playing like a team that should go in and win this.
Yeah.
But that's not guaranteed. Not at all.
Yeah. Score prediction? Do we want to do that? Do we not want to jinx it?
I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I guess. Who do you think are our top two, or top 1, 3, 2? I think our going backwards. So because we've been playing a 4-2-3-1.
Okay.
Yeah. Our back or like mid two are Connor and
JP. Yeah.
Like that's solidified. Our 3-1.
I don't know if Noe's ready to go yet, so I would still see Steven up top. I wouldn't be surprised if there's no rotation. I think it might be Joe and Joe, and then Pedro in the middle, flanked by Joe's.
I could see no Gallardo and start Gio.
Okay, yeah, it's a possibility too.
I felt Gallardo, he lacked something. He's been doing so much better, but putting Luis on as a solid start and then subbing on Gallardo later, I think could be a very, very powerful move. I'd rather start Steinwasser than Dos Santos. Personal opinion. Not to say Steven hasn't been pulling his weight, but I think Steinwasser will do better against Richmond. He's younger, fresher, not going to dive as easily, which I don't think is going to go against. We need something.
I don't know. Terzagi's great at diving.
Yeah, Terzagi's great at diving. We need something to answer Terzaghi. Like we need somebody who can stand up to the slightest breeze, which we're known to have at Werner Park.
Yeah.
Strong wind at sundown might knock Terzaghi over, and they get a PK. But Steinwasser is going to stay up and score a goal.
Well, either way, I'm sure that at some point we will see Alex, we'll see Noe, and we'll see Lagos is my guess.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We breezed over news because there is news. We've talked a little bit on it. Obviously, Lagos was signed.
Anderson was extended.
Anderson was signed to a full professional and extension. Lagos, fantastic signing for Fresh. Don't know as though it's an international roster slot because he's played for the U.S. Youth National Team. We're assuming no.
Yeah, I would assume not.
If it wasn't, it looks as though Junior has been released. We've yet to confirm this. Junior Palacios says, if you've looked at the website, is no longer on the roster, seems to be away from the team. I kind of get it. He never really locked in on the defensive style we were playing. Ended up becoming kind of a second, third string option on a number of positions, and took up an international roster slot. So if we had a chance to release him to pick something up, all right. Lagos, really happy with, as I said, has done some fantastic stuff with.
Yeah, it's really late in the season, so I don't know how much of an impact he'll have. We'll see. You don't know.
So last year, Shaft came in.
Shaft was about this time, yeah.
And what was it? Year before we had Ricky came in about.
I think he was a little earlier, but yeah, he was definitely mid-season. But I think it was a little earlier.
Yeah. But we've had some quality players come in late in the season and make a huge impact, and go on to perform the next season.
That's true. I'm hoping this is a multi-season contract, right?
I think it'd be dumb not to.
Yeah,
it's like a quality player. So, interested to see how that goes. Okay, I'm jumping into this bit of news. Doing it finally. My hometown's getting a team. Portland, Maine was announced as a USL League One expansion side today, September 7th, 2023, for start of play in 2025.
5 years in the making.
I literally was able to pull receipts from a member of the ownership group from 2019, Christmas 2019, where I was talking about where they have announced that they will now be playing after doing the. He's a developer, their property developer, so my thing's no bearing. But doing the suggestions to and improvements that I tossed out there while like 7 whiskeys deep on Christmas. 4 blocks from my parents' house, the house I grew up in. So Union Omaha needs to build a stadium before then and move to the USL Championship. just putting this out there. Portland, Maine is a fantastic city. It's been driving out millennials, Gen Z for years because
everything else south of it is more expensive.
Everything else south of it's more expensive, but also everything in the city has been super expensive. There's rent control, which is beneficial for some, but at the same time, landlords are not wanting to actually do anything. So selling it and turning it into single family homes or condos.
Yeah.
Gentrification is killing that city, but they're getting some soccer. Soccer's fantastic. I grew up meeting people from every walk of life, playing soccer, playing in PESA, the Portland Area Youth Soccer Association. Meeting people from refugee communities, and just having a time in my life as a kid. Seeing a lot of those people that when I go back home, involved in various levels, but knowing what soccer meant to them the same way it meant to me, that is going to be such an amazing community. It's smaller than Omaha by almost half in their metro. It's even more fragmented than Omaha's metro. I see it being very successful, but it is definitely going to be a challenge, and also on the positive, an away day everybody should be making. Number one thing I've heard whenever I mention here in Omaha that I was born and raised in Maine is, oh, I've always wanted to go there. Go there. There's an away day. Union Omaha might be playing against them. Like that's an away day to do. Like, just do it. The ownership group is, if you followed any of their social media in their build up to the announcement that they did today, it's been fantastic. This is grassroots based. From futsal to immigrant soccer to community soccer programs, providing equipment. It's just been mind-blowing to see the impact they've been having in the community where I was raised. There are groups like that here in Omaha. Football for the World is one that we've touted very heavily on this pod. We've had Monica on a number of times. The team has worked with Joe Marie on a number of things for Football for the World, and it's just been great to see Union Omaha doing things that I'm now seeing Portland with a pro team on the way doing. So very optimistic of what's happening there. Joining the same year that Brooklyn is supposed to be having a team.
Yep.
Santa Barbara and Spokane are supposed to be having teams next year.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're losing NCFC to the championship, oh no, we're losing NCFC to the championship. Mm-hmm. They never took this league seriously.
Yeah.
But that's 4 announced expansion sides that are going to be in communities that really have an opportunity to do something with this league.
And so I guess speaking from a bit further away and out more of an outsider's perspective, it has been a long time coming, right? USL to Portland started so long ago. It's been such a long, like you said, grassroots effort. It's really nice to finally see it come to fruition.
Well, I mean, hell, it got pegged as are they just trying to sell merch?
Yeah.
So long.
Yeah, and so but it also bringing them both in. Well, we know that USL in general is trying to grow its footprint, be more of a countrywide game and system, and the Northeast is somewhere where it has been lacking, right? Ever since they had Revs 2, they pulled out to go with MLS stuff, which of course makes sense. But there hasn't really been anything else up there in League One when there are definitely opportunities. So I'm curious if they're going to try and push for a few more Northeast teams to make kind of like a regional block like the Southeast has, where we could see like a Vermont, we could see a New Hampshire, maybe if that ever still happens. We could see some Northern New York, which I know is especially what happens to NISA, who knows? Like we could seize that potentially. So I'm curious if they're trying to push that and aim for 2025 with that kind of Northeast grouping.
So that based on the Twitter interactions after the announcement, there have been some interesting things from the Vermont Green, which former USL League One player Connor Tobin went there, is involved in leadership.
In their leadership, yeah.
Yeah. There were some interesting comments of, we'll see you soon. You had Charlie Davies potentially leading a ownership group in Manchester, New Hampshire. If he's doing a DeMarcus Beasley of
committing and then kind of pulling out, yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I'll believe that when I see more there, but Vermont definitely seems like one that has the potential to really create a New England rivalry. With Brooklyn there, as I was mentioning to you off air, with the mountains, it takes about as long to get to Vermont as it does to get to Brooklyn from Maine. So, and as you were mentioning, the high-speed rail between Boston and New York is a thing. If it doesn't break down and you have to end up taking a bus.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
And
then I guess the other one I'll mention too, former League One Fun commentator, I guess you would call him, Ira Jersey, still has Real Central in New Jersey that has explored some League One stuff as well. So there's a few options that could come to fruition here.
Bloomberg contributor, friend of the pod, Ira Jersey.
Okay.
Like let's correct the terminologies there.
Thank you.
If I recall, they did secure rights to the League One.
I think they secured rights, but they haven't set a date or any like we're joining type of thing.
Yeah. So,
but I wouldn't be surprised if they shot for 25 with all those other teams in the Northeast.
it seems like he's been building a fantastic program there with that ownership group. Men's and women's side, provided they can find a home. That's half the battle. That's why Portland took so long.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing a lot of these ones that have a committed ownership group, but it's finding a place to play. That becomes the issue. So if
I mean, you even see that with San Diego in the championship, and kind of partially why they're ending up folding.
Partially,
Yeah.
the other part is no
MLS, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that it's a sign of good things to come for League One in general. This
After Tucson last year, I was worried, and to be honest, this has given me a lot of hope, especially with the teams that are supposed to come next year, with teams 25, a continued push for League One growth. You had Northwest Arkansas that announced its championship, although they're a smaller metro than Omaha.
Which is weird, but yeah.
Des Moines, which is still supposed to be coming in 25 as a championship side, again, smaller metro than Omaha, smaller metro than Portland.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that are just kind of that had made me a little wary of the ability for League One to function. But with these expansion sides, and provided they continue in the path that they're trending, I feel very optimistic about this league and where it can end up.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I hope it's a good sign of things to come. Yeah.
Yeah. Other news was it Luis ended up in the assist leader race.
Oh yeah, he's currently on. We have a bunch of people kind of in that area. He's just the first one that I think popped up there. I feel like Connor should be up there too, but yeah.
Yeah. So Luis is it? The league put it as Luis has entered the race or something there.
Like entered the chat, I think, or assist leader chat.
Noe is back from injury, scored a goal in his first couple minutes. So opportunity for him to get back in the running for Golden Boot. Obviously, Union Omaha won their 7th in a row, which was a league record. Trevor Amon, what was it? Consecutive games scored in was his record or something.
Oh, was that it? I don't remember.
I can't remember. But that was NOCO. That's not Union Omaha, so we really pay attention.
That Rafa Metzigan goal against us, the second one, sent us over the league over the most goals scored in a season for the league. So any goals later, we're just jacking that up.
Yep. Well, I guess last time we recorded, we were talking about Josh Sindelar having a child on the way. But shortly after we recorded, came out that general manager Peter Marlette is and his wife Sarah are expecting. So congratulations there.
Congrats.
Make sure that they know how to wear a glove while holding a smoke bomb. Like, it seems important for league rules. We expect to see that in roughly a year and a half. So 2025.
The year we move into the stadium. Yep.
And I believe this should be releasing on, I think it'll be Gary's birthday. So
that I don't know. Okay.
Well, you know what? Happy birthday, Gary. Friend of the pod, owner of the team. appreciate everything you've done for the community, and keep doing it and keep supporting every community you're involved in. Trying to think. I don't know as though we have any other news besides the aforementioned team talk, which that will have Yoskar and Anderson. That will be at Dundee Dell on September 13th. So,
cool. After the Richmond game this Saturday, so we have Richmond, and then we have that. Yep.
And if you haven't been to one of those, I think I've tried to talk every time after that, or after one of those. They're fantastic. Really great way to just kind of get a candid side of the players, the coaches, whoever's involved. Go out to it. Great establishment, good food, good beverages, better company. So, and Kyle, you got anything else for me?
I don't know that I do. I think.
All right.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, then I got one last question for you.
Oh, okay.
You sure you're ready for it?
We'll see.
We'll see. A curveball. Might be a bit of a curveball.
Okay.
All right. Who gives a hoot?
We do.